Let's talk about getting over a sticking point in your art. What's up friends, Liron here. Thank you for joining me in another video. Today I want to talk about how to get over a sticking point or some recurring error or mistake that you have in your creative field. It doesn't really matter what it is, if you're a painter or like me, or you like to sketch, or you like to produce music or anything of that nature. After a while of really learning and improving, you may find that you have sort of mistakes that repeat themselves. You keep making the same ones. So for me, one example would be that after a while I noticed that I keep muting my colors too much when painting. I get very gray, very dim, very dull paintings. And so the way I got over it is by using a concept I call extremes, and this is exactly what I want to talk about in this video, okay? So the use of extreme allows you to be able to take yourself from where you are and sort of rip yourself from that sticking point, because sometimes it feels like you're stuck. This is like sticking point. You feel like you know what you're doing wrong, you know why you're not pleased with the result, it's not clicking for some reason, but you don't know how to correct it. And it's a really weird space to be in, because you see your mistake and you're like, okay, but when I do it again, it just happens again and again and again. So this is what happened for me. Every painting I would produce would have too muted of colors, and granted, some people would connect with that style. It wasn't like that it looked completely terrible, but I didn't like it and I wanted to make a change. Okay, so this is one example of that. So the way I got over it is by using extremes. So I was always going to the extreme of muting, mixing and dulling my paint. So I decided at some point, you know what, let's try the other extreme. If I keep going here to this very left or right side, or whatever you see it when you look at the video, let's try the very opposite, and that will help me find the middle ground. So I just started using my pigments as pure as possible. I didn't mix anything. If I wanted to paint a roof, I would just use burnt sienna, which is a very reddish brown. If I wanted to draw trees, I just put that green in there. I wouldn't try to always mix it and try to mute it. And even if I felt like, just a little bit, I just avoided it. I used them pure. And what this caused my paintings to be very bright and maybe too colorful, you know, on the one hand. But on the other hand, I was starting to get an idea of what the middle is. And the more I did it, the more I was able to lower the volume knob on that and bring it back, but not to as an extreme point as I was before. Okay, and this can really apply to anything. If you feel like you barely focus on, if you're painting and you barely focus on really making a preparation for the painting, and you feel like every time you want to devote more time to the drawing, but then you just kind of end up painting and using a very basic drawing. Why not try the extreme? So not just draw like a little more detailed drawing. Why not take it really to the extreme and really sketch something that's super detailed with all of the details you need, everything and even more, even too many details. And that way you'll feel, okay, this is too much, and you'll sort of try to lower it from that point and get to an even middle ground. Okay, and this is something that really helped me. It's especially good for these cases where you kind of know subconsciously what the mistake you're doing is, and you're able to identify it. But when you try to do it and you always tell yourself, this time I'll do it differently, this time I'll do it differently, and you end up not doing it differently. So it's just perfect for those cases. So I urge you to try it out and really experiment with it and see if you could just take something that you know you're doing wrong over and over and over again and try to the other extreme. And it's fun because the extremes give you an interesting perspective. Sometimes when you look at other people's paintings or artwork, exactly if they're in your same field and you're already competent in recognizing it, you can immediately feel the difference in what they're doing. And some people, you look at their artwork and it's very gray. Some people, you look at their artwork, it's very colorful. Some people are very loose. Some people are very details. And it's something that when you first see the person's style, you really recognize it. The more you're accustomed to it, the more it becomes like granted for you, and you pay less attention to it. So I think looking at one thing, at one extreme in your painting or in your whatever it is you do. And then going to another one really gives you a perspective, a really good perspective. So maybe try it out. Let me know in a comment below if you have something like this that you feel is like something you're stuck on, or a repeating mistake that you keep doing or something like this. I'm really interested, whether it's painting or something else. I really want to know, and let me know if this advice helped you. Also, if you enjoyed this video and it helped you, don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube, and also follow me on Instagram and Snapchat. I show there my work process really from more from start to finish. I give some stages, and I share just all sorts of interesting things from my life that I don't always show here or anywhere else. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again tomorrow.